Today I will talk about how to manage and use your .sama accounts securely. So it's cool to have accounts, but it's cool to keep them and to have your funds safe. Having your funds safe, you can always have them in some vault and never use your account. Then it's super safe, but you cannot use it. And what I want to talk about today is having them secure, but also use your account and your friends. So my name is Thibaut. I've been working at Parity in the past. I worked on Parity Signer. I worked on PokeAssembly, on the Polkadot extension and apps, many things. I will mostly talk at the end of this talk about Parity Signer and about Stylo that I forked when I left Parity. But now I'm working at Chainsafe, as you can see. Chainsafe is a really awesome company, and one of the things we do at Chainsafe is, you may have heard about it, it's Gossamer. It's the Go implementation of Polkadot. I will not talk about this today, just as an info. We are involved in the Polkadot ecosystem for this. All right, so I see three big things, three big ways where you can get wrecked, where you can lose access either to your account or to your funds, because at the end of the day, even if someone does not get access to your mnemonic, they can still steal your account. So the zero here is something I will not talk about too much. It's you losing your key, your password, your hardware wallet. Just you have your password or your mnemonic on some computer, and say you get flooded or there's a fire, and then you lose access to it. Right? That's pretty, I guess, straightforward, and I don't want to talk too much about this. You all know that if you lose your mnemonic and you never get access to it anymore, then you probably lose your funds. I will talk about 1 and 2 a lot. I want to show you how to prevent giving your keys to a malicious actor. I'll tell you what that really means in a minute. And I want to show you how to prevent getting your funds stolen by a malicious actor. So let me present you the 2 protagonists today. There's a Giraffe. Giraffe is you, me. It's a normal user. It's, someone could be very tech savvy, but doesn't need to. And then there's the raccoon. I really like raccoons, but this one is a malicious one. So every time you see this raccoon, it means it's the malicious actor. All right, so what kind of situation could lead to give your keys to a malicious actor? Of course, you will not just give them your keys, right? It will always be some kind of phishing or either website. So you basically go on, say, Polkadot.js apps, and it's not Polkadot.js apps. It's a fake account, a fake website. Pretty easy to copy because it's open source. And you know what? It already happened. Actually, more than a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago now, there was this Polkadot-js.org that was live on the internet, and this was a fake Polkadot apps, right? We managed to take it down, but it happened. So a phishing website could be, telling you, oh, you know what, today there was an upgrade, please give us your account, blah, 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 give us your mnemonic, and that's how you give your account, right, to a malicious actor. It could be a phishing extension. So say you go on your favorite search engine and you type Polkadot.js extension or Talisman extension, and then first link, you just click, you install the extension, don't really look at it, and actually it's not Talisman extension, it's a malicious extension that could be, just leaking anything you're putting in there. Or it could be a scam, as you probably heard, some people just approach you on Discord and pretend that they will help you to do something, and then you end up giving them your mnemonic. So this is pretty basic. You probably all know this. I'll go quick about it. You should never, ever type your mnemonic in a website, right? You should never give your JSON the account to someone. You should never give your private key on a website or send it to someone. Like, this is pretty simple to understand, and you all know that. I recommend to use an extension. I will talk today a lot about the Polkadot.js extension because this is something I worked on. But you probably all know by now that there are awesome extensions out there. One of them is Talisman, and the other is Subwallet. And these guys are rocking it, and I really hope that in the future months and years, they will just, take the lead and be the default. So when you connect to a website, so on the right there is a normal website, and on the left it's the giraffe, you, me, with the Polkadot.js extension. So when you go to a website, what happens is that they request for names or addresses, and there's no sharing of key here. So even if the website is actually malicious, right, well, there's not much they can do so far. So how do not land on, how can you prevent coming to a phishing website? So you should not click on search engine links, as I said before. Like sometimes there are, you can pay ads to be ranked, like to show ads basically at the top. So if I'm a malicious person, I could, register the talisman.extension.com, and just get an ad and pay for words. It's called AdWords on Google, for instance, to make sure that I am showing my ad pointing to my fake website, to my phishing website, on the top of Google. So you should not definitely access account management website by clicking on search engine link. To prevent having this problem, just have an ad blocker, such as uBlock Origin, which I recommend all the time because it's open source. You should bookmark trusted URLs so that you know that you're landing on the right URL. You should only download extension from the official store. Look at, follow the link from the GitHub. For instance, for the Polkadot.js extension, you can only, it's not listed on the Chrome extension store. You should go to the GitHub repo and click on the link there. And make sure, check the amount of users about this extension. Verify that there are actually reviews for this. This is extremely important because you screw it once and then you can be just, we'll see how you can get problems. One of the really nice things that the Polkadot.js extension has is a malicious website detection. So Talisman does not have this yet, but I opened an issue and they are aware about the fact that it's really helpful. So what happens is, if you have the Polkadot.js extension, as we show it here, and you land on a malicious website with our raccoon, if this website is actually a website that we know and that has been registered in the database, let's call it like this, it will actually redirect you. Like the extension would say, okay, we just move you out from this website and show you a little message saying, look, this is a phishing website. We know it's a phishing website. You should not visit this. Still, you can visit it and force it, by deactivating the extension and stuff. So this is all, oops, I went too fast. This is all on, I want to come back, on a repo called polkadotjs.org/phishing, and it has a list of websites, has a list of addresses, and everyone, you, me, can just add, make a pull request or just an issue saying, hey, look, there's this website that is a phishing website, please add it to the database. So that other people don't get scammed for it. And this is, of course, open source. This is based on the Polkadot.js repo, but it's accessible to everyone. The sub-wallet people who have the extension, which is a fork of Polkadot.js extension, also support this redirect, by the way. And I hope Talisman will do shortly. And we should all help to build this database, basically. It's like crowd created. So what happens is, if, let's say, for some reason, this malicious raccoon has a new website that is not registered on the phishing list. And so the giraffe goes there and is not redirected because it's not on the list yet. So what happens? How can the raccoon steal some funds or something? So what will happen is that the raccoon will just present you whatever you want it to be. So for instance, Polkadot.js apps or your Karura DApp, and it will tell you, okay, yeah, sure, you want to send funds, like the giraffe went to this website to send funds to their friend, the hippo. So they'll just present you with a nice thing, and you will click on the hippo thing, and it will send a request. So the thing is, because it's a malicious website, it will send a request. It will just pretend to send a request to send the funds to the hippo, but actually it will just change the extrinsic and say we want to send fund to the raccoon. So Polkadot extension is popping up and saying, hey, do you want to send fund to the raccoon? There, if you read, then you can stop the thing, right? You can be the police and see, oh, whoa, this is sending fund to the raccoon, right? So I don't want to do this. But there's a little problem here, I would say. This is the Polkadot.js extension, and you can see that you actually have to, so you can see it's a balance transfer, the extrinsic, it's written small. You have to click on the button to extend it to see that there's a transfer. It's a JSON, it's not super easy to read, it's not really awesome, and then you have to read here that it's the raccoon address, right? It's not like super clear, and I think this is a threat because, well, what you do is you click and you just thought you were on the right website because the raccoon website looked like the right website you were willing to visit, and yeah, that's a threat. This is on Talisman, at least I did this last week, so I think it's still the same. And it's again a bit annoying. You have to click on details. You have to scroll down because all it says is, sending funds from one account. And then you have to scroll down, and again, the value here is 0 because I was sending 0, but I mean, it would be otherwise the right amount, and then giving you the destination. We should do better. We should do better because this is where you will see whether or not you're sending something to the wrong account. And I'm going to tell you a scary story. It's not a new story. It's actually more than a year old. So we have our giraffe, and giraffe, she knows she has quite a lot of funds, and she knows that it's better to store things on a ledger. So this scary story happened on Ethereum, but it will happen eventually if we're not careful on Polkadot. So introducing Ethereum stuff, you all know MetaMask. So this person, Giraffe, was doing almost every day, probably like some of you, using DeFi and getting your rewards. So just going to whatever website, click on the get rewards. All right, sending the request to MetaMask, reading the MetaMask thing, was looking good, bam. Next, sending to the ledger, click, can't read anything anyway on ledger, plus it's EVM, so it's mostly not decoded, you don't know what you're signing. Validate, and boom, funds are gone. Like this person was just trying to get their reward just like every day, and they just got all their funds lost. And what happens is that, so this was a targeted attack, right? But still, like this person had a lot of money, and they got hacked. Not only was the website a phishing website, this actually, we don't really care. The problem is the extension had been replaced. It was a MetaMask that was modified. So what happens is that the person get their reward. What happened is that there was actually maybe or maybe not another request that was sent to MetaMask. What I mean by maybe or maybe not is that we don't really care because the MetaMask was actually the thing that was hacked. So MetaMask was pretending that they were getting their reward. They showed them, look, all good, that's exactly what you asked. We are doing whatever you clicked on. So it was saying give rewards to the giraffe, but what was actually sent to the ledger was, well, send all your funds to the malicious actor. And that's where the person did not read and stop this, because on a ledger you cannot read much, right? I don't know if you use it, but for instance on Moonbeam, on Moonriver, well, you have to, accept the blind signing and just click and accept stuff. And yeah, this person could not or did not really decrypt everything because it's, hex, and yeah, funds are gone. So what's the problem there? The problem is no one could help you for this other than yourself. Like only this user could stop this. Like there's no way MetaMask could have done this, it was hacked. And there's a solution for this. It's unfortunately not really easy with a ledger to read stuff, right? You all know, even for Polkadot, it's super limited, the support. So yeah, there's basically no support, I think, for batch transaction. If I'm not mistaken, at least it was the case a couple months ago. Parachains do not all have support for MetaMask. And when there's a runtime upgrade, which happens all the time on parachains and on a relay chain, well, you have to wait for an upgrade, so your funds are actually locked until there's an upgrade. So you probably all heard at some point about Priority Signer, and yeah, this is something I keep talking about because I think it's, to me at least, one of the most secure way to interact and get your funds. So the whole history about Priority Signer started long ago, like more than 3 years ago, and it started with, wouldn't it be cool if there was an app that could turn your phone into a hardware wallet, and it could use QR code to communicate with your computer? So that's how it started. I forked Priority Signer at some point last year, a bit more than a year ago, to create Stylo because I was not happy about the UX. Now, luckily, Priority Signer got 2 days ago for Android a release, and it's freaking awesome. So when I left Priority, Priority Signer wasn't in such a good shape, but they hired awesome people to work on it. They've been working on it for more than a year, rebuilding it, most of it, and the UX is still so-so, but the functionalities are crazy. Anyway, I will not go into details about what's the difference between Stylo and Priority Signer. I just want to be a bit more general about it. They are kind of similar and want to achieve the same thing, meaning keep your funds safe. And so, what is this? For some of you who don't know, so it's an application that you would install on a phone. And with this application, you can create accounts, you can recover accounts with a mnemonic, you can sign transaction, and you can sign messages, any messages. And this does all of it offline. So this application is actually supposed to be installed on a phone that will always be offline. It will never be online. So what it looks like is probably actually your old phone that is a bit broken or whatever, as long as it has a screen and you know, a camera, that will work. So you should use a dedicated phone for this. This should not be your everyday phone, right? You should factory reset it, encrypt it, so that if someone gets hold of your phone, no one can, without the PIN, can decrypt actually the content on the phone. You should turn the airplane mode. If you reset it, you know, like you should just not connect it to any computer, any Wi-Fi, etc. And yeah, never plug it into a computer. That's why when I built Stylo, I actually just made the choice to just go for Android, because you can have SD cards and you would not have to go online to download anything on the App Store. But Priority Signer has actually an app on the iOS App Store. So yeah, if you have an old iPhone and you're okay to plug it in once into your computer, you can do it. So how does it work? So this is Stylo again, because I think it looks nicer, and it's a bit more fun to interact with, but basically Priority Signer will let you do exactly the same things. So on the left, you can see your list of accounts, and starting from the right, you can create an account. We have nice things that generate many mnemonics and show you the identicon, how it looks like, for instance, so that you can have a nice identicon, which I think is super nice. And once you created your account, you basically have this QR code that represents the address, and you can show this to the Polkadot.js extension. Unfortunately, today, there is only this extension that works. So I was telling you before, use an extension. Well, again, I have open issue for Subwallet and Talisman, but it's not supported on any other extension yet. So this is the only way you can use a Priority Signer, is using the Polkadot.js extension. So what happens is that you, say, link an account from the Polkadot.js extension, and you show this QR code to your camera. And then it will be basically part of your accounts, right? Normally injected in any website, just like any account that you would have created from the extension. And then if you go to, say, like the giraffe before, send the funds to your friend the Hippo, the Polkadot.js extension will show you a QR code. It will not show you the thing that was written super small before. It will show you a QR code, which represents the extrinsic that you need to sign. And so on the left, this is a view from the offline phone that is scanning the QR code. And then the offline phone, okay, it's written also small, but will decode everything. So here, we show balance transfer, and we show the destination and the value. We also decrypt anything like batch transaction. You know, when you're doing many extrinsics at the same time, we decrypt everything and show you. So it's still a bit scary for any user, I would say, because while we're talking about, you know, balance, dot, transfer, keep alive, this kind of thing, but still I think it's a bit better than, you know, just hiding it. And so we have the extrinsic, we have the phone that is offline that scans the extrinsic, and then the phone has all the private key to sign it. So you sign it, and then it creates a QR code that you can show to your camera. And yeah, so you show it to your camera, and well, it's just like as if you knew, you know, gave your password and click on next on the Polkadot.js extension. It's just that all the signing happened on the offline phone. So all the crypto libraries are in Rust. Actually, most of the hard things is in Rust. We made everything so that it works offline. So if you ask me things like, oh, I want to see my balance or everything, nope, this is not going to work. It's not connected to anything, right? It's supposed to be offline, so we're never going to have some, you know, balance. And of course, the private key is never being exposed to the offline, the online world. And everything is open source, parity signer, stylo. So just a couple takeaways. Please, extension builders, integrate QR code-based accounts. That's really useful. And you should verify. Like every time you could read something about your extrinsic you're going to sign, you should verify and read. And yeah. If you think that's the way, please also help me pinging your favorite wallet team to support QR code-based signers. Thank you very much.